Hello and welcome to Hobby Late Night. I'm your host, Pac Nicholson, and tonight I'm joined by the Hank Aaron of Harleys, the Hobby's Dr. Melfi, the hoarder of Hulk Hogan's himself, Mr. Rob G, aka the sports card therapist. Rob, how are you doing?
Oh my God, Pac Nicholson, man, how you doing? It feels good to be here. First episode of yours, man. It is an honor, a privilege. I am humbled. I'm super excited, man. Thank you. I'm excited for you. I'm excited to see what your show is truly all about.
It's going to be fun, and I don't have that answer yet, but I think we'll figure it out every day. But yeah, so I guess to kick it off, how about you introduce yourself and kind of like, what is your current relationship with the hobby? What do you do?
Yeah, definitely, man. Thank you. So my name is Rob Gerard. By day, I'm a licensed psychotherapist here in Connecticut, and I do everything work with the mentally ill to the worried well, and that's just what I've done for years now. I was a high school dropout, got my GED, was like, I'm gonna need to do something with my life if I want to be able to do something like meaningful and have a decent life for myself. So at the age of 24, I went back to school, community college. Before I knew it, I had my master's degree. Before I knew it, I was hanging a shingle up and I had my own private practice. And so ended up getting back in the hobby, man. Same story as a lot of people right around the pandemic. And I was in it as a kid, grew up going to card shows, grew up going to card shops. That was like the one place my dad would always bring me, was the card store. And so growing up, I used to spend my allowance on cards, and now that I'm an adult and I have an adult salary, I spend my salary on cards. So it's pretty cool, man.
Yep.
It's I'm reliving my childhood.
Yeah. I had no idea, but like I knew you're a therapist, but didn't know the story behind that. That is sick. That a roundabout way of doing it, but like I admire that almost more than just going like, oh, I guess I have to pick a major and doing something just to do it. But you actually felt like you had a calling and went out and did it. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. It's I don't know. It's just one of those things. For me, I've always kind of been a people person, and meaning I love just being around people, love talking, love communicating, and I think that's why I'm drawn to the hobby so much, right? Because the community, the hobby community is incredible. And even though there's a few bad eggs in the hobby, there's a few bad eggs everywhere, right? So as long as I don't let a few bad apples spoil the bunch, you can really, really enjoy this hobby. And that's what I'm trying to do, man.
Hell yeah. I mean, I feel like same thing, trying to figure out like, because when I got back in like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, same thing. Huge collector as a kid. College happened, grew up, just didn't pay any attention. Found it pandemic time. I had just fallen behind so much. Like I did not understand a single thing. Like I was like, all right, where do I just go buy a pack for $3? Like I used to. I just want to rip some wax and seeing the prices, and then finding out about breaking, and then finding about like I don't know. It's just blown away by how far it has evolved.
Well, let me ask you, man. So when you got back into the hobby, um, I mean, you're known for your memes, right? Like I mean, who knows? Maybe 2 years from recording this, when people are going back and like binge watching your episodes because you're super big and you're out there now, it might be different. But I know for right now, you're really known for your memes. And where when did you realize, like, I think I'm going to start making some memes about the hobby?
I mean, that's part of my real life career has revolved around memes. So in 2013, uh, was living in Chicago a year after college, working at a call center, taking classes at the Second City. I thought I was going to go right for Saturday Night Live and TV,
Did
and
you
it
really?
wasn't.
That was your goal?
That was the path. I graduated school, went to like a improv acting school, and but I just didn't like being on stage as much. I like being behind the scenes. I like writing stuff. I like directing and producing versus trying to be a star. Um, Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just I
No,
prefer
yeah.
behind the camera. But yeah, I was working at this call center. The Second City thing is not going as I envisioned, and I'm reading blogs. This is, during the blog era, kind of websites posting about music. It was still kind of like Twitter was around, but it wasn't. You still had to go to different websites to find different information about whatever niche you're looking for. So I was reading music websites. Me and a friend kind of started a music blog. I started freelancing for a site called Pigeons and Planes, which was owned by Complex. And as I'm freelance writing for Pigeons and Planes, I started running all their socials because they didn't, at the time, this was like pre-social media being a job, really. Like, companies didn't have social media managers or any of that. So I started doing that, and we're making this content for the website. And I'm like, why don't we should start making memes as a brand to get our brand out there. We're a music website that covers up and coming artists, and that's great, but that's not going to bring in a ton of followers. But a big meme about Kanye or a big meme about Drake will. So I kind of started making these memes for our website, and I mean, we had Kanye sharing them, Future, Migos,
Get out of here.
Nicki Minaj. Yeah, no, I have I have a doc of memes that went like when Migos Bad and Bougie went viral. They talk about in an interview, one of the memes I made as being a catalyst. And so
wow,
doing that,
what was your name at the time? Were you going by your birth name, or did you have an alias?
So I mean, I have my Twitter handle, but then all of these memes were coming out under the Pigeons and Planes social media handles. So I was doing these for my job.
You weren't even fully getting the credit then publicly.
Not publicly, but and I didn't really care that much about it because behind the scenes, people were asking who did this? The Complex higher ups are what is who's running Pigeons and Planes socials? So
wow,
it got me to New York, because then I got a full-time job, was in New York at Complex, and same thing, kept doing that type of stuff. But eventually labels started cracking down on you being able to post snippets of songs on socials, especially coming from a brand like ours. So we were getting hit with copyright things. So kind of had to cool it there, but they'd gained enough attention that labels started hitting me up and being would you do a campaign for our artists? Make our song go viral, basically, was the request from every label about every artist, which is fun in theory, but it's harder to do when it's work. You know what I mean? Sometimes you hear a song and you're like, oh, that's conducive to some sort of piece of funny content. And sometimes it's not, but then it's hard to force a song that's not into a meme. So a label would call and say, here's our song, make viral clips for it. And I don't know, once you have to start churning it out, it loses the virality of what makes something like a meme fun. As soon as it's, sponsored by a big brand, it's not authentic, and the internet can see right through it.
Wow.
So anyways,
you ended up in New York by just really making memes and making clips that either went viral or had the intention of going viral.
Yeah, I mean, that was part of it, and it was just at the time, Pigeons and Planes didn't have an Instagram account, and I was like, you need to make an Instagram account, and now it has over 500,000 followers, and it's I was kind of the architect behind that, and kind of figured out what brands should be doing on social media and package that up. And so memes were part of it, but then there's also a lot of work that went into it in sharing our editorial content, sharing our video content, rollouts, campaigns, ads, all that stuff. But yeah, memes again have, I guess, back to your original question, have always been a part of the type of content I've created. And when I got back into the hobby, I was obsessed with it. I mean, and I spent a good 6 months probably just, watching YouTube stuff, following all the accounts. And I was like, I need to be doing something. And to me, the lowest lift is making the memes that I make, because I try and if I have to spend more than 3 minutes on one, I don't want to do it. I just want it to be quick, fast. I want it to look kind of shitty, because to me, that's just like part of the charm. I want, if I spend too much time on it, it's not fun. I just want to like fire off a fleeting thought that I think is funny about the hobby. And it's nice that it's caught on a little bit.
Listen, man, absolutely. Your memes capture like everything that like it's almost like, you know, with comedy, right? And I'm not a comedian or anything like that, but I know that, you know, people are able to take, you know, make a like a regular situation or something that's pretty identifiable, but really kind of stretch that and make it hilarious, right? So like I think of just like a couple memes off the top of my head that that you that you have. Like one of them is like a guy talking to Jesus. He's like, "Stop giving me your toughest battles," and Jesus is like, "It's literally just a full watch list on eBay. Relax."
It's true though. 400 is not enough.
Oh my god, just hilarious, just like unbelievable, you know. I mean, the stuff that you hit on is great, man. The stuff that you hit on is great. So and then I know this is your show, so I'm not trying to take it over, but so you're making all these memes, you're getting, you know, you're getting some followers, people are liking your stuff. I know people are always liking, commenting on it and stuff like that, right? Like what's your vision for what this show is going to be? What uh you know, the Pac Nicholson show is going to consist of?
Yeah. Well, and again, still, I
Hobby
think
late
trying to
night. Hobby
hobby
late.
late night, hobby
Love
late
it.
night. Like I want it to be, you know, again, I love the podcast. I love the long form stuff. I'm consuming it all the time. Your show,
Thank you.
who else? Cardboard Chronicles. Went on a deep dive of like his old. He just did one recently, and that led me down the rabbit hole of these old interviews. Um, and there's a million great creators out there doing the long form stuff. And then I watch, you know, the other type of creator who are doing the on the ground at like shows and the more vlog YouTuber style. And I want to kind of just like bridge that gap and be something in the middle where I want to be informative. I'm genuinely curious about other people in the hobby, and I want to see interesting collections more than like, you know, what's the current hot card. I want to really like find the unique collections out there. But also like bring some of the fun pacing and editing that, you know, those vlogs have and the show vlogs have. So like throughout this, I mean, I haven't done it yet. I haven't even edited one of these. This will be the first one, and figure out how I'm going to achieve that. But yeah, that's the goal, is to make it, you know, fun, feel like you don't have to commit an hour and a half to it. Like I'm hoping an episode's like 30 minutes. And yeah, just is engaging. And I also want to, yeah, talk a lot about cards, show off cards, and show off interesting cards and interesting stories. So that's somehow put that all into one show.
Yeah, man. And I tell you, it's so when we first met, right? I mean, so you and I were at a card show and I'm set up as a dealer. And really, I just started setting up probably about 9 months ago. And really, the whole idea behind setting up was to get more content for my podcast, not like a YouTube show or anything, but more content for my podcast, as well as trying to develop a better understanding of just, you know, wheeling and dealing in the market and stuff like that. But what I realized was like, wow, okay, so setting up as a dealer at card shows really can help me level up that much quicker. Like it just every time I was leaving shows with money in my pocket, as well as better cards that I came there with, you know, so it was like a win-win. It was unbelievable. So I'm setting up at shows, right? And I see this kid walk up, or this guy walk up to my table, and he's, you know, he's got a Def Jam shirt, and or is it a jacket?
Is a hoodie.
Okay, he's got a Def Jam hoodie, and he's got like a darker version of a Zach Morris hairdo. And I'm like, what's up, man? You know, how's it going? And we start talking, and we were talking for what, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And all of a sudden it was like, we were just vibing. We weren't even talking cards, right? We were
Yeah.
talking music. We were talking everything else but cards, it felt like.
Yeah, we met. And at the time, I think I was trying to figure out it was still early. Like what that must have been like February of this year,
Yeah, I
March.
think it was February. Yep.
Um, and yeah, you had asked me about content, and I think I kind of, I guess vaguely was maybe describing this of, or just saying I was just still trying to figure it out, still trying to get accustomed to the hobby. And I still feel that way. I still like want to have enough knowledge that when if I'm calling myself a figure in the hobby and like speaking on it, I want to, not be an idiot about it and have some, room to talk, I guess.
Listen, man, listen, forget all that, okay? The beautiful thing about this, okay, and this is one of the first things that I try to say to people, and every once in a while I'll respond back in my comments with this is like, listen, I have never claimed to be an expert in this hobby. I've never claimed to be teaching or wanting to teach people about certain things. The only thing I'm talking about is my journey, right? The only thing I'm talking about is my
Yeah.
journey and interviewing the people I want to interview.
Right.
So, if I get something wrong, sorry, but I never claim to be anything. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, we're giving out free content. No one's subscribing and paying a $10 fee each month, and we're totally giving them wrong information. I'm not giving out advice. I don't think you're going to be giving out advice. So at the end of the day, it's like, it's a beautiful thing about life. You don't like it, turn me off.
Yeah. Free content, baby.
Absolutely.
But and yeah, not to be an expert, but more of just like there were new things I was learning, finding out about every day that like again, like figuring out what a breaker is, figuring out shows, like not only going to shows, but then like actually doing a trade and being like, whoa, that's different than I thought. Like, wait, I wish I would have done that differently. And then doing the second trade. And then it's like, okay, next time, don't do that, do this. But yeah, it's still just, I still felt too new. And now I just feel way more comfortable in feeling, yeah, just comfortable in the hobby enough to start hobby late night, baby.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I mean, it really is like a hobby hack, right? It truly is. Like we talk about like life hacks and like different ways of like, whatever the cheat codes to life are. Let me tell you something, man. When it comes to this hobby, if you truly want to learn at a fast pace and you truly want to level up or get to where you want to get to in this hobby, man, start creating some content. And if you really want to beef it up a notch, start creating some original content. Be original with what it is you're trying to do. And I know you're going to be doing that. That's something that I tried to do, without necessarily reinventing the wheel. But yeah, man, I mean, it's a hobby hack for sure, creating content, putting it out there, and it's going to be great, man. So,
Yeah. And like, again, everyone has a different perspective, everyone has a different goal view, and everyone has a different collection. Everyone has a different, like, reason for doing this. And so I guess that's my next question, a little play on a popular question, but I want to ask you, why do you collect?
well, I'll tell you, I think for me, it's there's probably multiple. It's probably like a list of like 3 or 4 main points as to why I collect. First thing is nostalgia, without a doubt. First thing is nostalgia. Um, just getting cards in general give me a feeling that not many things in life can, and it truly brings me back to feeling like a kid again, right? Like when I'm getting a card or when I've just acquired a card, I'm not thinking about the bills, I'm not thinking about work tomorrow, I'm not thinking about all those things. I'm literally just kind of like lost in my own world, even if it's only for 2 or 3 minutes at a clip, but I'm lost in my own world of just being happy with my card. As corny as that sounds, right? I'm a grown man saying that,
I
but
get it.
yeah, so definitely it's about nostalgia and bringing me back to childhood. I think part two of that, and it's not as important, definitely not as important as the first part, but I think a second part to that, a less important part, is probably the investment piece, is the fact that, and I think that's kind of what, that might not necessarily what gets people hooked, but I think that's what gets adults to kind of stay,
Hmm.
that investment piece, the fact that if I purchase something, it could either A, retain its value, or maybe B, go up in value, and C, yeah, I know it could go down in value too, right? We all have stuff that happens with, but
Mhm.
I don't know if you've ever made, like, I don't know what your biggest flip has been or what your biggest, like, transaction where you're like, holy crap, I bought
Mhm.
that for $300 and I just sold it for 500 within like 15 minutes. I just made $200. That's insane. Now I can take that $500 and maybe turn that into 800 kind of thing.
Yes.
Or you could just take your money and, do whatever. But I think that's a big part of, as an adult and even as a teenager too, right? It's like we're teaching, kids are growing up now. These teenagers are growing up figuring out how to, preteens, about investing with money. I wasn't learning about that stuff, 30 years ago, but kids now are with cards.
Yeah. And I think like sometimes I think like the investing, flipping part of it gets a bad rap or is looked at. It's like you should just collect who you like.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's like, for example, I like LeBron James. I've always loved LeBron James. I want a sick LeBron James card. I can't go out and buy a 2003 Topps Chrome Refractor, PSA, which is what I hopefully can get soon. But like, I see that as like this is who I'm PCing, and I'm also collecting who I like with like the Chicago Bears. I have so many random, obscure, great Topps Chrome refractors of every single Bear that I've watched play.
Who's your favorite Chicago Bear of all time?
Ooh,
Can I guess?
like to me, it's two different answers. Like people I haven't watched play and those I've watched play. So I have two that come to mind, but you can,
Okay, so I'm gonna guess based on that answer. First one
yeah,
that you've seen play is gonna be Brian Urlacher.
nope.
No. The one that you haven't seen play, I want to say Jim McMahon, but I'm gonna say Dick Butkus.
It's Walter Payton. It's got to be Walter.
Okay. So Walter Payton, and then who's the first one? Who's the one that you have seen play?
First that popped to my mind is Devin Hester. I mean, Hester
Oh,
was
beast.
he was awesome. Like
Oh, he reinvented the position
those
of
years
returner.
were insane. The first 2 years, he had I think 12 returns for touchdowns in his first 2 seasons. And it was like every time he got the ball, you thought he was going to score, and more often than not, he was. And it was just an incredible. And like his rookie year was the Super Bowl year, and then returns the opening kickoff of the Super Bowl. I mean, he was a stud because, like, honestly, the Bears outside of defense, there aren't a lot of other offensive standouts to collect. I have a ton of Jay Cutler. I try and only get him in Bears uniforms, but I think I have.
What are your thoughts on all the Smoke and Jay memes?
Oh, great
Aren't
content.
they incredible?
Yeah, early. That's an early NFL meme too. Like that was. I mean, him pouting on the sideline and stuff. That was the 2010 NFC Championship, and I remember that like going crazy on Twitter. And so, yeah, 2010. That was early stuff.
Remember, was it him and Philip Rivers going at it all the time?
Oh yeah, that was just the battle of
I
the
love
buttheads.
that rivalry, man. That's what made. I mean, Jay Cutler was just so unlikable.
Oh yeah,
He was
that made me
like
love
the
him.
worst. He was like,
Yeah.
he was
Well, and it's like at being a Bears fan, you have like it's like all right, I guess
he's my
at
guy
first,
now.
yeah, I guess I got to do this, and then of course I'm going to go all in. Like they drafted Mitch, everyone's hating on it. It's like, well, I guess I'm going to drink the Kool-Aid though and be diehard Team Mitch, and was till I wasn't. Same with Fields. Like I'm excited for Fields, but at this point I'm so jaded by the Bears. Like I will still every Sunday watch every game and read every article and do all that, but I just know not to get too emotionally
Listen,
invested.
you see who my
Get my
team
hopes up.
is. Okay, you see who
Oh
my
yeah,
team is. Okay, that's
you've seen a
exactly how
couple
I
Super
feel.
Bowls though.
Well, yeah, but you guys have one. Well, you guys
I
have two.
wasn't
Well,
here.
you guys have two. You guys won. You guys beat the Colts, right? You guys beat
No, we
Indy.
lost to the Colts.
That's right. You guys lost to the Colts. Okay,
And I
so
was
you
living
did.
in Indianapolis at the time. That was devastating.
Okay, so is your only victory 86?
85.
85?
Yeah.
That's your own. Okay.
I mean, they won a bunch of like 63 and back in like when there were 4 teams. I think they can claim like 9 or 10 world championships, but 1 Super Bowl in the modern era.
Wow.
So yeah, that 2006 Super Bowl team, like I have Grossman gold refractors and Cedric Benson, and like I love that team. And to
Yeah.
me, that is the fun part, where because no one is going for like Rex Grossman refractors on eBay, so I get to get all the gold. Well, I don't know. I think some lately I've seen some competition, I think, but I love that type of stuff. And bringing this back to investment versus collecting, but it's like, but I want to get to a sick LeBron, and then I'm also seeing how the market moves in the cycles and with like current performance. So to me, it's like, why not use that and my knowledge and to my advantage? And also, yes, there's risk involved, but hope that I can make those moves to ultimately get to the cards that I want. Like I just got a big Josh Allen card because to me, I'm hoping that can lead to LeBron.
Do you have it with you?
Optic red to 50 on
Optic
card
red
auto.
auto.
Yeah. I mean, this lighting sucks, but
That's a monster. That is a
that's one I just
monster.
have been looking at. I'm getting too emotionally attached to it too, because like just Josh Allen and the Bills are fun to root for. I'm in New York. I figured I know he's going to be hot, and it's like part of me thinks I'm buying this, and at the National, I will part with it to get my LeBron. That's kind of
Listen, man, I absolutely love it. And I truly feel like over the last year, and I feel like it because I know I have. So I feel like the hobby in general has gotten so much smarter about playing the cycles. And the reason why I feel that way is because I've gotten a lot smarter, and I'm just the average Joe collecting too, right? I'm not someone that had I didn't have a monster collection 10 years ago that turned into a $2 million collection 18 months ago. I didn't have that. I literally came in late again, and I've just slowly been working my way back up. And I've been getting smarter with playing the cycles, and it looks like you are too, because without a doubt, dude, you should be able to move that. And it's funny that you mentioned the Topps Chrome Refractor. So I think it was the show I met you at. I don't know if it was the show I met you at or it was the show before
you
that.
had one. I think you had
I
one.
had one. I think it was the
Yeah.
same show. I actually sold that. I had two guys come up to me, right? And they like to remain anonymous, but they've bought me out a couple of times now. They came up to me and they bought like my top 4 cards for $30K cash. 30K
yeah.
cash, dude. They dropped 30K cash on me at a show in New Jersey in February, right? So I'm like, oh my God. And it's crazy because like people are like, oh my God, I can't believe 30K, good for you. That's awesome. And it's like, well, dude, like I'm happy about it. Obviously, I could have said no, but it's like people only see the tip of the iceberg out of the water. They don't see the actual iceberg underneath the water of all the deals that went into that mountain. Like that was literally like 18 months of my life in those 4 cards. And they just came and offered me 75% comps cash. I could have said no. But I took that because I said, you know what? I have faith. I've become a lot smarter over the last year to 18 months. So I have faith with what I can do with this 30K. And so I took that 30K and I bought I bought my most expensive card I had ever bought, and then I bought one of the most expensive. So I took that 30K and I dropped 17.5 on a Ja Morant National Treasure RPA at a 49. And then I dropped 7K on a Jason Tatum Flawless RPA. Within 4 weeks.
And when was that? Because then they both went on again, and knowing the cycles, like the time of that is
there
just
was a
perfect.
lull. There was this quiet period in the NBA, which there always is. It's like right after the All-Star break. Not many people are talking about basketball. Everyone's on this high from the Super Bowl football that just ended. We're kind of getting our bearings together, getting excited for spring training and baseball. It's like so bought those 2 basketball cards, dropped 25, 26K on just those 2 cards. Within 4 to 6 weeks, I flipped that Tatum that I paid 7 for, got 13 cash for that. And then that Tatum I paid 17.5 for, flipped that and got 35K for it. 6 weeks later. 6 weeks later. So So then I was able to take that money and get some super liquid, somewhat high-end cards, which then allowed me to be able to buy this.
There it is.
That's the LeBron
Ultimate.
2003 Ultimate Collection rookie auto numbered out of 250.
Crazy.
Listen, I am hoping this is like a grail card. This is the biggest card I ever got. Right? I am hoping that one day this is LeBron, one of LeBron's $1 million cards. So this, if anything, has that chance. This is his most sought after high end rookie autograph. Aside from the exquisite RPA that is already over $1 million of LeBron,
Right.
this is basically next in line for that $1 million price tag thrown. So that's what I'm hoping. So I was able to flip all those cards, take the last 2 years of my life, and turn it into that LeBron. So it's doable, man. It's doable. And a big way that I've been able to do that and acquire all those little cards, right? Like I've seen some of your stuff, man. I saw your stuff when you came to the Probstein show. You have some heat, man. You definitely have some good cards, some cards that would be a great start to acquiring that LeBron. I know what I did was I would say I had a variety of $1,000 cards, right? Cards that were between $500 and $1,500. My whole thing was just trading up. So what I would do is I would find a card I liked on Instagram. You know, I started building relationships with guys that are kind of in the high end market of like, you know, 2,500 to 10K cards. And every time they posted a card I liked, I was like, I'm interested in that. I'm going to send you a picture of 10 different cards I have right now in my inventory. That card that you have is a $4,000 card. I love that card. Let me know what you would need for that card. And I let them make a package. And they're like, oh, I like that card. I like that card. I like that card. And then I would need 800 cash on top of that. I'm like, sounds good. As long as it makes sense for me and it makes sense for you, great. So what I would do is I would just always turning my $1,000 cards into $3,000 cards, into $5,000 cards, because when you go to national and you're ready to make a play, for that freaking Topps Chrome Refractor LeBron, you want to be able to have that Josh Allen and maybe 2 or 3 other cards of that caliber. And you can do that for sure, but you gotta, you know, just put it out there and keep doing it, man. I have no shame. I go in anyone's DM. I'm like, I like that card. Let me know if I have anything for trade you would like. I send them pictures. And
well, and I mean that's what collecting kind of is. It's like, all right, instead of buying a $6,000 card, I'm gonna, for the next 12 months, you know, put $500, buy a $500 card, buy a $500 card. That's more fun than putting $500 in savings every month to get to the 6,000. It's more fun to have a card every single month. And
especially if you buy the right card at the right time, because those $500 cards can turn into $800 cards over the course of a season.
Right. And so that I think is where I'm at. And it takes buying those cards over 2 years to accumulate enough $400, $500, $600 cards to then turn those 2 of them into a $1,000 card and then package it all together. So already, like, I'm going to the Midwest Monster this weekend.
Oh, where is that?
Yeah, it's in Indiana. And I have family there, and I have some work stuff that I lined up. So I'm going to be able to go on Saturday. And
I've been hearing about this show, man. People are posting their stories or posting like polls. Who's going? Are you going? Are you going? And I'm like, I just keep on hearing about this, man. This sounds like this show's going to be a beast.
Yeah, it's near my hometown. So it'll be, I mean, I had to go. And I think it's like 350 tables, and Indie Card Exchange is like a huge card shop outside of Indianapolis that I've been to, and the guy Andy's amazing, and he's like part of the show. So that'll just, I don't know. I'm excited to go, and there is where I can hope to acquire a couple of those pieces to pair with Joshy boy to turn into, that LeBron.
Or who knows? Maybe you pair. Maybe you go up to someone's table with your Zion case and someone falls in love with that Josh Allen and they're like, I want that Josh Allen. And you're like, well,
I know.
I like that. I know you like my Josh Allen, but I actually like that of yours. And yours is 3K more. So take a couple more of my cards and let's make a deal. Maybe you end up finding, maybe they have a Tom Brady Bowman Chrome PSA 10 comps are about 15K, right? And then it's like, I want that. So if you really want this Josh Allen, let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited. And again, like every show I go to, I learn more and like
Mm-hmm.
figure out how to navigate those waters. So this one I'm really excited for because I feel like have, know my values, know how to stay firm. I've been going to Bleecker trading, work talking to everyone there. It's been so much fun. But yeah, just like I feel like you got to know what the fuck you're looking for and your vision when you go into those shows because there's times where you can just get overwhelmed by someone
This is
more.
going to be like a little mini national for you. This is going to be like a
Yeah,
nice little appetizer, man.
yeah. No, I'm super excited. And also like to take it kind of back to like collecting what you like and that turning like I've realized like the music cards. This is something I do want to talk about because I know you
Mm.
got some and like my biggest flip was I bought that John Morant Chronicles 116 PSA 10 where Young Dolph, the rapper who passed away last year, is in the background. I bought that last year, like right when I found out about it, like before any of the hype. I think I got it for like $70, a PSA 10 on eBay. And because I was like, I like any cards with musicians. This to me is cool that he's in the background. Like, didn't think anything of it, bought it because I liked it. It starts going viral, and then it went viral like again, like a few months after that. And I looked on eBay and they were selling for $600. And I'm
Wow.
like, I have to sell it. So I sold it for $640. Bought it for 70, sold it for 640 like 3 months later. And it's like I was like, I'll be able to get the card back if I want it. It's a Chronicles base. It is not rare. And like, but I can't not take advantage of this market right now and what it's selling at. So that would be my biggest flip. But then there's this card that I'm so high on, and it's the Kendrick Lamar Topps Chrome first pitch refractor. This is the green out of 99 though. I've only seen the numbered ones come up on auction like twice in the last year. There's only 99 of this. There's an orange of 25, a red of 5, and a super fractor 1 of 1. And that's it for Kendrick. And like
That's
JP
beautiful.
has so many sets. And I know Jay's the GOAT in a different level, but to me, it's like in 10 years, when people look back, they'll be like, what was Kendrick's big refractor? And if Jay-Z's gold refractor right now is, $4,000 in a PSA 9, this is more or just as scarce as that card. So to me, but it's also like I'm buying it because I love this type of card. Do I think there's potential upside? Yes, but also I'm happy to take this card and have it like forever. Like it's not solely to flip, but it's having confidence in what I like, hopefully other people might like, or I just think like the future of pop culture and music cards is still, there's still a lot there.
Yeah, no, man, absolutely. I mean, you said a lot there for sure. Um, yeah, I think the whole outside of the main 3, 4, 5 biggest sports, I think there's so much to be said for, um, you know, collectability factors, and especially if it's something that hits home for you. And I know that this is something that's a big card, one of my favorites that I own, and that is the 1982 Wrestling All Stars Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
Okay, autographed, Beckett authenticated. Um, so this card is considered to be his true rookie. Now, this was actually part of a magazine set, and there's no real um, number on how many of these sets were made, but there's a guy that knows a guy that worked for the printer of these cards back in 1982, and he seems to think that he's certain that no more than 1,500 sets existed. Um,
Damn.
and probably even less than that today, because I mean, I'm sure some of them got tossed. I mean, they're wrestling cards. I think they got sent in like for free in magazines to people and stuff. So, but this card right here, a PSA, it's hard.
Yeah, what's like the pops on those?
The pop super low, super low. So I'm gonna look up right now because I want to be accurate with what I'm saying. So 1982 Hulk Hogan. Okay, so the 1982, so Hulk Hogan. Now this is not autographed. Mine's autographed, but I'm gonna talk about so a PSA 9 of this card. PSA 9 of this card. It's only a pop 16. And Card Ladder has the value at $57K.
Damn,
$57,000 for a Hulk Hogan card. Pretty insane.
that's
Pretty
crazy.
insane.
Is that like his two things? What is like the 86 Fleer of vintage wrestling? Like, is there a set that is
Yes,
like
definitely. So this, and this is my best way to compare it. Okay, so if you're familiar with 86 Fleer Michael Jordan, right? I mean, Hulk Hogan's the Michael Jordan. I think he's like the Mickey Mantle, the Michael Jordan, whatever of wrestling. So,
I was gonna.
are you
another question?
okay? Are you
Who's the
familiar
GOAT
with?
wrestler?
Are you familiar with the 1984 Michael Jordan star card, the rookie,
Yes,
the star
yes.
rookie? So that's considered his true rookie, but
Right.
the hobby says that's his true rookie because that was his first ever NBA license card that was printed, but it wasn't pack pullable. They sold it in sets, the star set. So this is, and that's a million times more rare than the 86 Fleer.
Yeah.
But that's what this is compared to, right? That's what this is compared to. However, this is like the 86 Fleer right here. And this is the 85 Tops Hulk Hogan rookie card number 1 of the set, and this is authenticated PSA DNA certified autograph. Now, this card is considered his rookie because it was the first pack pullable Hulk Hogan rookie. Just like the Fleer Jordan.
Is Hulk Hogan the GOAT? Is he Jordan of wrestling?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's the Jordan. He's absolutely the Jordan. The Mickey Mantle. I think that Andre the Giant is the Babe Ruth. Hulk Hogan's the Mickey Mantle, or how whatever analogy you want to make, taking nothing away from The Rock and Cena, but I mean Hulk Hogan built up what wrestling was, and without Hulk Hogan, I mean there would arguably be no WWF or WWE without Hogan. Hogan saved that company.
Yeah. I'm just partial to the Attitude Era because that's what
man. Listen,
grew up watching, and I pulled these because I had these from when I was a kid, but a Fleer 2001 set, and then check this out. This is Kurt Angle, autographed by Kurt Angle in ballpoint pen, because this is an old collector story. When I was in middle school, I bought on eBay that someone sold a list of all the current professional wrestlers and their addresses to send them autographs. And so I was just sending out letters asking for autographs, and Kurt Angle sent that back. And who knows if it's just a guy who made a list and they were all going to his own PO boxes and he was autographing them himself and sending back. But as a middle schooler, that was pretty hype to get a little Kurt Angle autograph.
That is awesome, man. That is awesome. So let me ask you, when it comes to wrestling, who would be on your, and I got to ask this because I actually have a Mount Rushmore tattoo, if you can see. See a Mount Rushmore tattoo? Look how incredible that came out, man. That's incredible. Wow. So who would be on your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers?
I mean, Stone Cold, just like it was just the best. I mean,
top 4 wrestlers of all time.
Oh man, that's tough. Stone Cold, The Rock, like I can't not have them up there. I love DX. I mean, Shawn Michaels was awesome. I don't have like a definitive 4. Like Stone Cold, Rock, Undertaker. Undertaker's got to be up there. I want to think those seem so obvious though. I gotta
So
think of the wild card.
you're not even putting Hogan, Andre, Flair out just
And
even
see, to
out of
me, it's who
respect.
I've
You're not
watched.
even putting them up there.
Yeah, I get this is my personal Mount Rushmore.
Okay,
This
okay,
is
I'm not mad.
yeah, and no, like I get it. I guess if I had to look at wrestling as a whole, the Mount Rushmore, Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, Vince McMahon. You can't not have Vince up there. Like he's
Wow.
a
You're right.
wrestler.
You are
He's jumped in
you're
the
the
ring.
first
He's a
person
heavyweight
that's ever
champion.
said that, I think. I've never heard that said, but you're right.
He's the Vince is a genius. Like it needs to get like I don't know. An unsung hero in all of wrestling is Vince McMahon and his just showmanship. Like
Yep.
his willingness to be a character. Like the old clips of him like battling against Austin, him like the chairman when he was like that character. Just
When he was in the hospital and Stone Cold was the nurse.
with the bedpan,
Yeah,
hits him with
yeah.
the bedpan and shocks him. That's him
It's
screaming.
that was so
Me and my friend, like we call them YouTube pre-games where we just go to someone's apartment and end up just drinking and watching YouTube videos all night. And we'll just go through, 2 hours of Stone Cold clips. And that one always comes up. We always watch that.
Love it, man.
Yeah. And then, yeah, like with the music stuff too, it's fun to always find out about like the 95 Panini top sticker, the smash hit stickers. Like I know you have the Snoop.
Yep.
Got Nirvana right there.
And it's graded. Love it.
Yeah, that and Snoop. I mean, they're only like a 5 and 6, but I just saw them slabbed on eBay and it was cheap. And I don't know. I just love that stuff. And then got another one that's kind of interesting. So that John Morant one, Chronicles, Young Dolph in the background. This is Kuzma's Panini Chronicles rookie and courtside. It'll be hard to see, but Frank Ocean, the R&B singer, or not R&B. He's just a musical genius sitting courtside in there. So that's one I found out about recently that no one's getting Kyle Kuzma Chronicles base graded though. So it's actually kind of tough to find him.
Little pop, yeah.
Yeah, and there's some parallels out there. But the parallels, the numbering goes right over Frank Ocean's face, which is kind of funny.
So who would be on your Mount Rushmore of hip hop artists all time?
Ooh. Jay-Z, Kanye West. Damn. That's a tough, like Eminem. I think I have to put Eminem just on a personal. Growing up in the Midwest, Eminem was everything. Outkast, can I do then?
Yeah, definitely.
Andre as one. Yeah, I mean, all love Tupac and Biggie. Like, I love the music, but just off personal preference, I'll go back and listen to Jay all the time. Outkast is just incredible. I mean, I don't go back and listen to Eminem as much anymore, but
yeah. I think, and I agree, man. I think, I grew up same thing. Eminem. I mean, he was definitely, he was up there, but listening back, I think that his replay value isn't as high as some artists.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I mean, it's a different kind of hip hop, I guess. But yeah, I think that he doesn't have, his replay value is not as much. I'm fully an East Coast guy, so I would, on my Mount Rushmore, Prodigy from Mobb Deep's got to be there, right there, number one. Biggie, Jay, and I would probably maybe Jadakiss. My fourth spot always flips. It could be Nas, it could be Jada, it could be Big Pun, it could be 50. Mixtape 50.
Yeah, 50. Yeah, that mixed early 50, and then I still go back and Get Rich or Die Trying front to back.
Classic.
Perfect.
There wasn't a bad track on there. That's probably one of the most flawless albums ever.
Yeah, it's. I can't imagine like I was a middle schooler, high schooler in Indiana when that came out. I can't imagine being in New York and actually being out and about and hearing that in the wild when it dropped. I bet it was a different level.
Let me tell you, man, like I would, like here in Connecticut, I would always be at Bridgeport, like bus station, train station. Bridgeport's like I don't know, maybe 45 minutes from New York City, 30 minutes to the Bronx. So we always had all the bootleg CDs. Like there would always be one or two guys at the bus station always selling them. So I had everything, man. I mean, but the day he signed with like Shady Aftermath, I already knew 100 plus of his songs by heart. You know what I mean? It's like, and so
That's awesome.
that's the guy that I'm like, and that's why like Lloyd Banks, he'll always be up there for me, just because
Yes.
all his mixtapes and stuff like that. But yeah, man. And you know what? So you had mentioned Kanye, and so the other day was Kanye's birthday, and so I turned on my local radio station, which I rarely do. Now that I really discovered Spotify and truly know how to really work Spotify, um, I don't listen to much local radio, but they
Yeah.
played like a Kanye mix that was like 45 minutes long, and it just brought me back to how insane his playlist is. Like if he
He's,
was to do a versus Jay, he might
I'd
win.
give it to, yeah, just in terms of like has those records that,
Hits, just straight
yeah,
hits.
like he has the hits. I mean, but again, then I was thinking, I don't know if you watched the Locks Dipset versus,
Of course.
but everyone thinking Dipset kind of was gonna, because they
I
have
don't
the
know
bigger
who thought
anthems, but then
I don't know who
that,
thought
that
that.
was that was the discourse on Twitter. And then, I mean, not like that they were gonna run away with it, but I feel like going
They
into
were
it,
more flashy. They
Dipset, yes, it
but
has
come on, man. I
overall
mean,
Dipset has bigger radio hits and reach, and a common person would probably pick Cam and Jewels, but then just the heart of Jada and how awesome they were. Like that's where it's like, yeah, Kanye has those bigger records, but I could see Jay just having like the performance and like,
and I think it's the longevity too of Locks, D Block,
yeah,
I mean, they signed to Bad Boy in '97, so I mean they had stuff with Biggie. It's like they probably had 4 hits with Biggie, and then they probably had 2 or 3 hits with Mace, and they had probably 5 hits with Diddy, and it's like just those hits from like '97 to '99 would be stiff competition for Dipset. Then you factor in everything else that they did with Rough Riders, that they did when they formed D Block, like everything else. Like, I mean, Jada's just way too well polished, and in the Locks, all they do is tour. That is like all they do is tour. All they do is crank out mixtapes to this day. So their chemistry is second to none. Their stamina, even on their stage presence, second to none. Like, come on. Like,
yeah,
Cam brought out a lawn chair thinking he was gonna like try to clown him. It was like, come on, man. I don't think you guys know who you're going up
yeah.
against.
They're a well-oiled machine. They were ready for war, and they just that was awesome. And like even like music in general, I could talk about music forever, but hearing you talk about like going to get the mixtapes and like getting the physical thing, like I'm nostalgic for that because now there's music everywhere all the time, and I miss when you had to like seek out what you wanted to hear or listen to something because the CD cover looked cool in a Best Buy or wherever. And with cards, I feel like get some of that, where it's like, oh, I remember mixtape 50. It's like right now, I guess you could probably go back and buy a 50 mixtape. I bet someone has some out there as like collectibles. But
Well,
like,
you know what I find myself doing? I find myself always on YouTube looking up old mixtape 50 stuff, old DJ Clue mixtapes, like because Clue would drop a new CD every week, almost every 2 weeks, and it was just nothing but like underground freestyles, like Nas freestyles that like you've never heard before. So
yeah,
I find myself going back and it just they keep constantly getting suggested on my YouTube algorithm. So it's like it's perfect, man. I'm constantly just I'm now I think like that old head that is like, oh man, they don't make it like they used to. But I tell you what, man, that music, man, was just you know, timeless. But at the same time, though, I really do appreciate some of this newer stuff, man. I really
Yeah.
do. I love the singing and the harmonizing. Like, I tell you what, man. I mean, you know, he got an absolute bad rap after the concert, but Travis Scott, man, I love his stuff. Love Travis Scott. Love Drake. Love Jack Harlow. Like, and you and I, we've gone back and forth talking about Jack for a while now, and
Mhm.
and you've been on Jack for a while. I'm just catching up on all his old stuff because he didn't really hit my radar until about 3 months ago.
Yeah. And yeah, there's still good music. Just to me, there's so much that it's harder to spend time. Like, I mean, growing up, it's like I'd buy a CD, put it in my car, and driving around. And it's like maybe I didn't like it the first time. Well, too bad. I'm listening to it multiple times because I just spent $14 on it,
Yep.
and I'm gonna listen to it. And then eventually, by that fourth, fifth, sixth listen, oh, song 7 is sounding a little different. Song 10 is hitting a little different. And now, and I don't know if it's from working in the industry, but it's like I'm listening to everything that comes out. I'll listen to it once, kind of make a judgment on it. Like, all right, it was cool, but whatever. And then shelve it, and not spending as much time as I used to. And I think that's because there's so much coming out, or maybe because just busier, different time in life. And then I think that then makes me think like, damn, they don't make it like they used to. Like, I remember that one album, I listened to it all the time. And it's like, well, that's because at the time, I had all the time in the world to just drive around, listen to
So
music.
you mentioned Outkast before, and I usually don't give Outkast too much love, but I'll tell you what, man, one album that really grew on me and it took years to grow on me though was Aquemini.
Mhm.
That took
Nice,
so
so good.
long to grow on me, man. And I was just all about the New York East Coast boom bap hip hop. So the Source gave Aquemini 5 mics, and I can remember going to the CD store and buying the Outkast album because the Source gave it 5 mics, and the
Yeah.
Source never steered me wrong. And I can remember listening to it, and I paid like $18 for this album. Now, $18 back in like 98 when this album came out, it's like the equivalent of like 35 bucks now. Okay. So I paid like $18 for this album, and I just was so mad about it. But then I remember when their double album came out, Speaker Box and The Love Below. Man, The Love Below, I just got the goosebumps, man. Talk about absolute classic. That Andre 3000 side.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I think Stankonia was in between those, which
I think
had,
you're right.
because then, like,
That was what So Fresh
yeah.
So Clean, right?
So Fresh So Clean is, I think, Speaker Box, Love Below. But I
No,
think
no,
Miss
no.
Jackson was Stankonia, and like that was their first
Yeah,
big break.
Miss Jackson was So Fresh So Clean. I think that was the same album. So the
Oh, you're
Love
right. You're
Below,
right. You're right. You're right.
yeah, so the Love Below I think had Hey Ya, and then they were all singles. They were all like solo
Roses.
singles.
Yeah. Day in the Life of Andre. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. And they're one, like, growing up, I knew the hits. I knew, like, the radio songs, but then went back and really listened to a lot of their stuff, and like I get it. And especially then knowing the context of East Coast, West Coast is going on, and then these two dudes from the South doing this totally different thing than anyone else is just pretty sick.
So their album, and I never know how it's pronounced, is it ATLians or Atlians? ATLians?
ATLians. Yeah.
Classic. I remember when that came out, Jazzy Bell, that was incredible. And then that came out right around that time of, and this might have been before your time. I hate to even say it, that makes me sound so old, but 95 Source Awards, 96,
Yeah.
95 Source Awards when the whole
Tell them what the
Death
South was
Row.
all about.
Exactly. We
Yeah.
got something to say too.
We got something the South got something to say. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And
'Cause that's when that's Suge Knight too
yep,
did the
the whole
whole,
thing,
you
everything went
don't want your
down.
manager dancing in the videos, come to death row.
And then Snoop
See, and
said,
like,
"Yep." Snoop was yelling, "Y'all don't love us. Y'all don't love
yeah,
us." Oh man.
and see, like, this is gonna make me spend all night figuring out, have Outkast ever appeared on any sort of card, and go and get the card, because like, and that too with like music sports, where I'll just like reminisce on a player and be like, damn, I love them. instead of just like music, it's like, oh, I'm reminiscing on Outkast. I'll go back and listen to an album. That's fun. To me, with the cards, it's fun. I'll reminisce on a player like, oh, Vince Carter was so sick. Let me go see what cards he had. Like, I don't even know the Vince Carter world yet. And then I get to go down a rabbit hole, and then I get to find some Instagram account where someone just collects Vince Carter cards, and I get to scroll through and find a million things that I want. And and then get one of them and hold it, and instantly I'm like, oh fuck, I'm watching the, dunk contest again. And that the tangibleness, like I have vinyl, I collect vinyl too, and you get some of that with it, but the cards, man, they bring you back.
100%, man. Completely agreed. Something amazing just about just the hobby in general, man, and just the nostalgia factor. And I think that's what keeps me here. What keeps me here is, like you said, like, oh my God, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole now and see if I can find some sort of trading card with them on it. And like you said, those 95, I think it was, Panini stickers. Let me tell you how amazing this hobby is. So I went out of my way and I purchased the Snoop Dogg rookie Panini sticker, the Aaliyah Panini sticker, and the Diddy Panini sticker, right? All rookies, all considered rookies. Purchased those, sent those out to PSA. That was the one package I had where the package gets lost and stolen in transit, right? I'm like, oh my God. So I just posted a screenshot of all the cards. I'm like, guys, if anyone sees any of these cards, some of these cards are numbered. So if anyone sees any of the cards in this package, like, I don't even know what to do. But I was mad, and I wanted to share it that all my shit got stolen,
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, this New York City police officer hits me up. He goes, "Hey, what's up, man? I'm a collector too. Love your podcast. I saw that some of those stickers got stolen. I actually have like dozens of them. I'll send you the whole set." He sent me literally all of these stickers for free. So I had them all in top loaders right down there. I'm looking at Snoop, Diddy, Aaliyah, Warren G, Usher, R. Kelly, all of them. And he just sent them to me. And he's like, "Here you go, man. Nope, keep up the content." I was like, holy moly, dude. Appreciate you.
And a true thing about the hobby is like everyone's awesome in it. Or so far, everyone that I've like dealt with, it's been fun interactions, and everyone's just like, oh, I'm just happy to be here. Like, for the most part, everyone's finding joy in it, expressing the same, pleasure out of it. And it's just, yeah, that's fun. And shit like that. I bought a box of the 91 MTV, Yo MTV Raps.
Oh,
It's like, they're like $40 on eBay just to rip it. Like, I know there's like nothing in it, but just to me, it was, I mean, there's a billion different Tone Loc cards, and like Public Enemy. There's some awesome ones in there in LL.
I want a Tone Loc card, okay? If you got a million of them, I want a Tone Loc card.
I'll bring you a set, like, and then they're like 10 different versions.
Oh my God, that's great.
But yeah, I guess I just have a couple final questions before we wrap up here.
Awesome.
What's your current stance on the hobby in terms of just the economic outlook of our whole economy is grim in general? What are you approaching the hobby any differently during this maybe impending recession, or is it business as usual, or just what's your current take?
Yeah, well, it's great question, man. And I think when you talk to like finance guys and guys that specialize in like really knowing about recession and what it's all about, they usually say you don't really know that you're in a recession until like it's almost over. Like you look back on it, you're like, wow, I think you can categorize that as a recession, what we just went through. And based on what we're paying for groceries, for gas, for just everything, it's right. It's probably safe to say that we are in a recession. First one, I think, since 2008, but I could be wrong. I'm not really truly a finance guy, but I think that I don't ever welcome a recession. But I do welcome the market correction when it comes to the hobby of sports cards, because when I came back into it, I came back with prices being really high. And I really don't remember a time in the last 10 years, I wasn't really in here, when prices were somewhat normal. So I'm looking at this as an opportunity to try to buy up some grail cards, right? And it's like, so you're going to sink more money into this hobby? And I'm like, yeah, kind of. And I think a way of, even if you don't have money or cash to spend, I think a way of still being able to transact that's somewhat safe is being able to trade, right? So if I have a card that's $1,000, and but it was worth 10 grand last year, and you have two cards that are worth $500 that equal a grand, I mean, we can still trade. It doesn't matter that my card's that, like, so if I'm trading you a card, my card is down big time and your card is down big time, neither of us want to sell because we don't want to lose money on these cards. But at the same time, if we're trading, we're not really losing money, but we're still moving product around to where our inventory or our collections are still benefiting, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 I feel like that's, again, to bring it back to the 2003 LeBron Refractor. I was looking at prices. I'm like, wait a minute, I could pull off a PSA 8, and I just want my foot in the door in terms of the LeBron. And then I'm looking at the black. I mean, the black is the ultimate grail card to me, because numbered and just aesthetically, I love black refractors. Even that in like a PSA 8 is like down to like 15, 16, something like that, which looking then at the chart, like the card ladder, it's like a year ago, that card was out of here. That was like a $80,000, $100,000 card.
Yeah, right now it looks like a Topps Chrome Black Refractor LeBron numbered out of 500, PSA 8. Card value is around 15.5.
Yep.
There's only a pop 53. Pop 53.
Numbered to 500.
Yeah.
And it's LeBron. Like, as I keep going back to it, I'm like, this is LeBron James. I remember his high school games. I loved rooting for LeBron James his whole way through. The expectations, the meeting them, the exceeding them. I loved when he went to Miami. I loved when he was a heel, like to take it to wrestling like that. And that's the second grail card I'm trying to get is I love the 2013 Kaboom set, the original. Like, I know Kabooms are somewhat divisive, but I think like as it expands and gets bigger and bigger, people wonder what is the first ever set, and we'll go back to that 2013 set. And that LeBron one is LeBron at the peak of his powers in Miami, back to back championships in the black jersey, like that card and the 2003 Chrome. Like, if I can just get those two, I like to think that I'd be like, cool, I'm good. But then I heard you and I think Josh from Cardboard Chronicles talking about, like, once you get the card, it's kind of like, all right, now what? Like, I've got the card, but
is it not though?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, this Josh Allen, I was like hunting, like I knew I wanted this card, like I love Optic. I loved everything how this card looked. I wanted a red, had a couple leads, finally found one, got it for a good price. Took like a few days to get here. I kept like looking at pictures of it before I had it. I was like, I can't wait to get the card. Can't wait to get the card. Got the card. I still love looking at it, but I'm like, all right, now what?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. But yeah, it's and this is the beautiful thing about this hobby, right? Is that we can just kind of keep going. And some of the most fun is in the hunt, right? The hunt for the card. And I mean, it's a blast, right? And actually closing the deal and acquiring the card. I mean, there's no greater high. And you can argue that the high of finalizing a deal for that card is better than when you finally get it in your hand.
Yeah. No, I 100%. Every aspect of this whole hobby has become so much fun, and yeah, that's what I want to keep exploring, keep talking to people about, hearing their takes, hearing what they're going for. I guess any final, I do want to have guests of the show. Are there any cards you're looking for or cards you're trying to move? If you have, as you have this platform, is there anything you want the people to know? To my
Yeah, I mean,
one subscriber,
I think
I have.
one thing I want to say, man, is just, be kind to one another. And I think your reputation means so much in this hobby. We don't have any governing bodies in this hobby, so it's kind of like, a free for all. People kind of, people rip each other off. They'll do this, they'll scam people, they'll do this, they'll do that, they'll be bullies when it comes to deals. I would say just say be kind, man, and that's my biggest thing, man. Your reputation, just like in life, your reputation in the hobby is everything, to me anyway. So just be a good person, don't be a dick. And as far as grail cards, I tell you, so the few cards that I brought to show today that I already showed, right? I showed the LeBron Ultimate Collection, beast of a card, showed the 85 Tops auto, showed the 82 Wrestling All-Stars. This is something that I just picked up. This is the 1933 Babe Ruth Goudey. This is listen, you can go down a rabbit hole
62.
just searching this set. Thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, beautifully centered. I mean, no paper loss. I mean, it's a beautiful tube. And then the Wilt Chamberlain rookie, talk about, incredible grail card. So to me, I don't care. Obviously I care about pop counts and pop reports, but I just want like iconic rookie cards. There's something about iconic rookie cards that speak to me. When it comes to that shiny stuff, the newer stuff, like I like it. Don't get me wrong. I have some shiny stuff. I have some Panini products, but for the most part, the iconic rookie cards are really what get my heart racing. So, a few cards I'm looking out for, definitely 1948 Jackie Robinson Leaf. I would love to acquire one of those. 1957 Tops Bill Russell rookie. Would love to acquire one of those. I'll tell you, those are really the only two. I would love to get my 51 Bowman Mickey Mantle back. I had to move that in order to, get the LeBron Ultimate Collection. So I'd love to get a 51 Bowman mantle back. Obviously, I'd love to get a 52 Tops mantle. But yeah, I think those are probably like my top 4 cards right now I can think of that ideally I would be acquiring in the next year or two in this hobby.
If you could get one of those in the next, year or two for the LeBron, would you? Or are you?
I don't think so. No, because I think for me, this LeBron, it just symbolizes so much for me. It symbolizes how much work I've put into getting back into this hobby, and not only that, but I look at it like a true investment. I think the only way I would move this LeBron is if it was to get a higher grade one of the same card. LeBron is down so much right now, and
it's crazy.
And with this card, it's a BGS 8.5 with an auto 9. There's like only 2 available on eBay. I think one is going for $1 million and one is going for $500,000. So, not saying that's what they're worth, but that's what they're asking. I mean, these cards just aren't available. So I don't think I would move any of those for the LeBron. I think the LeBron I'm holding until I cash out.
Yeah. I feel like that's again, I just love LeBron. Like when I was getting back into it, I was like, I want to collect LeBron James. And then I saw LeBron James prices. So I was like, all right, well, I'll start somewhere else. But if I can get one of those, 2003 chrome refractors, the black refractor especially, it's like I will just put that away and then start again. Like it's like, all right, now I'm, back to working around, buying little things I like, and maybe in another couple of years I'll get something else. But yeah, it's fun. The chase. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
All right, Rob. Well, this went longer than I expected. I have no idea if I'm not going to be able to edit this into my 20 to 30 minute ideal time frame that I thought.
Part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. I mean, whatever, the case is.
Maybe it's like the whole thing. Just because sometimes I'm looking for that too, where it's like, all right, let me just put this on in the background, and as I'm searching Card Ladder and eBay, listen to people talk about cards. Maybe that's what the people want. But we'll see.
Listen, 100%, man. One thing that I've realized, especially when it comes to my subscribers, there's been like one or two times over the course of my podcast. My podcast, I've been out for about 14 months now. Like I said, I'm just around 80 episodes. I drop usually 2 a week, but I started slowing up to do 1 a week because I started a new podcast, The Bounce with Amil Surfane. So I kind of slowed up on my sports card therapist one just a little bit, but it didn't matter if I drop on a Monday, a Wednesday, a Friday. It didn't matter when I drop an episode because I still get the same amount of streams every single time. It's like people are subscribed, and when I drop it, they listen. And it doesn't matter who's on, doesn't matter what the topic is, people are listening, and the amount of time of them streaming is almost the entire episode for the full average. It's like people just put it on, they listen to it, whether if they're paying close attention or it's on in the background. They just want to hear people talk cards, and I can identify because that's me. I listen to other content when I'm out. If I'm in the shower, if I'm doing the dishes, if I'm driving, if I'm at work, I always have content on.
Yeah. And yeah, there could always be more. I mean, I go through my YouTube, who I'm subscribed to, and there's no blue dots. I'm like, damn, kind of wish someone put out a new episode, even if it's one of these accounts that I don't really like that much, but I just want some hobby content. I'm craving some cards. So yeah, I got to figure out what exactly this show will be, but I'm glad you're the first guest. You've been a great friend in this hobby so far. So appreciate you.
Likewise, man. Appreciate you. Best of luck.